Are you in the pockets, are you and your system in the pockets of those who destroy the environment? The ethnic division of this country was instigated by external forces. Through the Industrial Revolution and now lecturing us. Are you in their pockets? Are you paid by them? Are you paid to keep their
Mr.
message alive? There is no hypocrisy in our position.
The Center for...
This is part of your legacy. Part of your legacy is this, that you divided the people.
Have you seen the video of the president of Guyana? It's going viral right now because he called out the West on their hypocrisy. As I said, it's going viral, but the one part they cut out isn't. And that needs to be heard as well. So here we are. I'm going to give you that part as well. To everybody out there in South America, shout out to you. Congratulations on Guyana right now having the number one GDP in the world at 64% growth last year. And this year it's already at 34% GDP. So it shows no sign of slowing down. In this video right here, please, you got to hear it. But you can't just get the viral part. You gotta get the part that they cut out, and I am gonna show it to you. So how about we watch this together, ladies and gentlemen? Grab yourselves a drink, like, subscribe, and enjoy the show.
There's systems in place.
Let's take a big picture look at what's going on here. Over the next decade, 2 decades, it is expected that there will be $150 billion worth of oil and gas extracted off your coast. It's an extraordinary figure, but think of it in practical terms. That means, according to many experts, more than 2 billion tons of carbon emissions will come from your seabed, from those reserves, and be released into the atmosphere. I don't know if you as a head of state went to the COP in Dubai.
Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. Do you know that Guyana has a forest forever that is the size of England and Scotland combined? A forest that stores 19.5 gigatons of carbon, a forest that we have kept alive, a forest that we have kept alive.
Does that give you the right? Does that give you the right to release all of this carbon?
Does that give you the right to lecture us on climate change? I am going to lecture you on climate change because we have kept this forest alive that stores 19.5 gigatons of carbon that you enjoy, that the world enjoy, that you don't pay us for, that you don't value, that you don't see a value in, that the people of Guyana has kept alive. Guess what? We have the lowest deforestation rate in the world. And guess what? Even with our greatest exploration of the oil and gas resource we have now, we will still be net zero. Guyana will still be net zero. With all our exploration,
a couple of
we'll
points.
Still be net zero.
Powerful words, Mr. President. But a couple...
I am not completed as yet. I am not finished as yet. I am just not finished as yet. Because this is the hypocrisy that exists in the world. The world in the last 50 years has lost 65% of all its biodiversity. We have kept our biodiversity. Are you valuing it? Are you ready to pay for it? When is the developed world going to pay for it? Or are you in the pockets? Are you in the pockets of those who have damaged the environment? Are you in the pockets, are you and your system in the pockets of those who destroy the environment through the Industrial Revolution and now lecturing us? Are you in their pockets? Are you paid by them? Are you paid to keep their message alive? There is no hypocrisy in our position.
The Center for International Environmental Law has described the oil and gas production in Guyana as turning your country from, as you rightly put it, a carbon sink into a potential, quote, carbon bomb. Now, you may say you have every right to exploit that oil and gas.
That is ridiculous. We, even with exploring and production of all our resources, we are going to still be carbon neutral. We are still going to be carbon neutral.
Let me quote to you Greenpeace, who say quite simply, to avoid the worst impacts of climate change, and you know that your own country is one of the most vulnerable to climate change because most of your population lives below sea level.
And we have paid, guess what? Guess what? We have paid for the mitigation. We have paid for the adaptation. We are the ones who have to find revenue. No.
I want to continue. I haven't finished telling you what Greenpeace say.
Yes, but let me tell
Greenpeace say we need to keep the majority of the world's remaining fossil fuels in the ground.
Yeah, Greenpeace can say that.
You're not doing that.
Greenpeace and you can say that. But we need to get resources and the developing world. We need to get resources to build the sea defenses. We need to get sea defenses to build a drainage and irrigation system. You just said that we're 6 feet below sea level. Who is going to pay for the infrastructure? Who is going to pay for the drainage and irrigation? Who is going to pay for the development and advancement of our country? Are you going to pay? It's not coming from anywhere. It's not coming from Greenpeace or anyone else. Look at the adaptation budget that is required for the developing world. Where is the money coming from?
Isn't there a cynicism here in Georgetown, best expressed by your vice president, who said recently, because there is this climate change imperative to decarbonize, our policy is to get as much oil out of the ground as quickly as possible. Now, he said, that's harsh for those who think that you should be environmentally sound, but that is the reality of it. Those were very honest words from your vice president.
And that is what we are, honest. We are practical.
So you're rushing to get this oil out before any deal is done, to quote Dubai COP, to transition away from oil and gas.
You can say we are rushing, but we are very practical. We have this natural resource, and we are going to aggressively pursue this natural resource because we have to develop our country. We are committed to the development of this region. We have to create the opportunity for our people because no one is bringing that for us. No one is bringing that for us. No one is paying our agenda.
With the oil money, to quote him, a one-party state is emerging in Guyana. There are fears that the money you have access to is entrenching your political supremacy.
Well, first of all, let me address an issue. You have to give me a few moments. The ethnic division of this country was instigated by external forces. You are aware of this. It was instigated by external forces. We have to accept that. This is part of your legacy. Part of your legacy is this, that you divided the people.
That was the viral side. Everybody saw that. Now, I'm going to give you the other side. First of all, I watched a video from a gentleman, I believe he is a Guyanan, and he had mentioned, actually, I'll show you the video. This is what he said.
All right, Mr. President.
Alive. There is no hypocrisy in our position.
This is just brilliant, brilliant. And you know what? I mean, this should be an eye-opener for the BBC presenters who appear to conduct these kind of interviews, from sitting on high horse. I think they need to realize that gone are the days when they can go and preach, the morality and democracy and various other things, around the world. I think people are fast realizing, and the Gaza conflict has...
And I agree with him there. I agree with that. I agree with what he's saying, 100%.
Acted as an eye-opener for the countries around the world. You saw how India reacted to American interference in their democracy or in their political matters. You know how Guyana reacted the other day. The countries are now realizing that, look, enough is enough. And the countries like, so-called Western powers need to be taught a lesson.
Or that was pretty much the main take of all of the viral videos out there. The same kind of, yep, the West is finally finding its place. And I agree with it 100%. 100%. And he had mentioned Ghana in there too, as far as Ghana stepping up and saying, we're not taking it from the West. Shout out to Ghana and Sam George in the parliament and what you see going on over there. But they're doing it differently. I just got to say that right now. Africa is doing it differently. Whereas in Africa, they took care of the West first. Now they're more inclined to take care of their business. And so now we're going to head over into the part of the video that was chopped out before the dopamine part that we got, the viral part, which is really cool. But I think we all are going to get a little bit of a lesson from the earlier part of this video that actually, I don't know, let me know what you think.
Investments are also critical for us to bring back the huge diaspora that migrated during the period of dictatorship.
All of those big ambitions you have depend on stability. And one of the problems you've got right now is that your enormous new wealth has stirred resentment in your neighbor, Venezuela, which has for long seen a territory, Essequibo, which is 2/3 of your landmass, as rightfully theirs. And Nicolas Maduro, president of Venezuela, is now saying he will take...
So before we go any further, let me stop it right there. Isn't what he's saying is Venezuela is saying that the land that you're drilling on is actually ours because the colonizers that you're talking about, the hypocrites, are the ones who took it from us a while back. So just let me know what you think there. I'm not saying right or wrong here, but Let me know what you think about that part. Now let's keep going.
Will take that land.
This land, Guyana, was settled in 1899. Our boundaries were settled. Venezuela participated in the settlement of the boundaries.
The Venezuelans say that was a colonial agreement, illegitimate, and it is indeed true to say that right now the International Court of Justice is considering the legitimacy of Venezuela's claim.
No. I'll come to what the ICJ is considering. In 1899, Venezuela accepted the boundaries. The country Venezuela accepted the boundaries. They even enacted local laws that accepted the boundaries. They participated with Guyana and Brazil in establishing the tri-marker point, in setting out the poles for this with the surveyors on the boundary. So Venezuela participated fully. When we were about to become independent, they raised a controversy. That controversy that they raised is what is before the ICJ.
With the greatest respect, we could spend the next hour talking about the International Court of Justice and the case, but I don't want to do that. I just want to talk about practical realities. The reality is that Maduro organized a referendum last year in Venezuela, which overwhelmingly backed the idea that Venezuela should reincorporate, or incorporate, as you would put it, this territory into the Venezuelan state. If that were to happen, you would lose your rights to drill and produce oil and gas offshore off the coast of Essequibo.
Well, first of all, we will not allow that to happen. And that is why we are before the ICJ, because we believe in the international rule of law. We are a peaceful country. We are a democratic country. We believe in regional stability, and we are before the ICJ.
Sure, but with the greatest respect, you're also a country with a military and security force of, what, 4,000 men at best. Venezuela can call upon 150,000 men.
I'm coming to that. So, but before that, I must establish the point that our first line of defense has always been diplomacy, and we respect the international law and the outcome of the court, the ICJ. However, we recognize that we are dealing with a neighbor that is aggressive, that has made certain threats, and we are investing in our military. We're investing in the technology of our military. We're investing in infrastructure. But more than that, we have aligned ourselves with countries and a region that is on the side of Guyana. The CARICOM as a region has issued statement in support of Guyana's sovereignty. The US has issued statement in support of Guyana's sovereignty. The UK has issued statement in support of Guyana's sovereignty. France has issued statement in support of Guyana's sovereignty. Canada. So we are working on the basis of an international coalition that would not allow this region to be destabilized by any action by Venezuela to overrun our territorial integrity or our borders.
But have you seen the satellite imagery which shows that armored vehicles have gathered close to the border with Essequibo on the Venezuelan side, that they have armed coastal vessels, again, gathered close to your waters?
Well, what I'm saying is that we have made it very clear that if there is any breach in our territorial space, if there is any action by anyone to destabilize our country and to invade in any way, shape, or form, that we will call upon every force and every friend to help us and to work with us to protect our territorial integrity.
That is where it gets a little shaky, ladies and gentlemen. It gets a little shaky in the part where he just called them out. The hypocrites, the colonizers, the people who've held us back we're not going to take what they're saying. And I get that. I agree. 100%. We're not going to take it. We're going to do our thing. We are a sovereign country. We are a democracy. Okay. We heard that. Now, you've heard the other side of it. This was earlier on in the interview. So I actually went backwards on this. I showed the viral part first. Now, this part where the president comes along and says, look, we're friends with France. We're friends with United States. We're friends with the UK. We're friends with Canada. We're friends with all those people that I just called out that are trying to tell me to stop doing what I'm doing for climate change purposes. But they're going to help us if somebody else comes along, and you know what I'm saying here. Okay, so the hypocrisy here, I'm seeing it in both ways. Believe it or not, I see it in both ways. I understand it more in the viral video. Makes more sense to me. Yeah, I agree with that part 100%. But the part where the president comes along and says, now, I'm going to call forth, if we get attacked for colonizing that area, then the colonizers are going to come and help us because we agree with the colonizers in the way they drew the lines. You know what I'm saying? Whereas what Africa did, their playbook, get the colonizers out. Now let's drill. Get the colonizers out. Now let's take care of our resources. Now let's sell it. Now let's do it. That way they're not in control. Because this climate change issue, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the biggest power grabs I've ever seen in my life, as far as being able to sanction people, being able to do whatever you want with your power, because the climate. You're paying for air. People are going to start paying for air, whether they like it or not, but they're going to be using it because America's already used up all. I mean, we went crazy with the climate. We didn't care about it 2 years ago. China, still going crazy with it. Every succeeding country in the world right now that is gaining value is using all their resources and energy and oil that they have. Now the United States is dropping financially, economically, because it capped all their oil wells. They have oil too. We have oil too, but they capped them due to climate change. Here's the issue that I take. That's all. This is all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. I would need to know what you think. I need to know how you feel about what he's saying, getting help militarily, because we can also see, and I've seen this play out a million times, America's got weapons. They like in the video, the BBC interviewer, he's using scare tactics throughout. Well, what about climate change? Well, what about your defense? Well, America can, in the UK and France can all help you with that. But you have to, once again, adhere by all of our rules. And they're saying, well, we'll adhere by your rules with the lines that you drew, but nothing else. I don't know. Let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. I just thought I needed to bring this out to you because the viral part was good, but this other part has to be shown as well so that we get the full picture and not just the part that gives us a good dopamine effect and make us all happy. Sometimes we need to make sure we take care of those important critical pieces that actually matter in the long run, because we're playing a long game here. Short game's great, but long game is better. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think. Hopefully you enjoy the video. I want to say once again, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. I love you all out there. And Guyana, congratulations on being #1 in the world financially right now. God bless you. See you on the next one.